Hi everyone. Today I want to talk to you about what it means when you dream about your house. That is a very common dream symbol. We often dream about our house. However, you will find that usually it doesn't even look like your real house most of the time. It could be, like the house you grew up in as a child, or it could just be the house you are living in now, but it looks different. Or it could be in a completely different house. But what does the house in the dream represent? I believe the house in your dream represents your life, right? So it represents really the state and the condition of your life. And the different rooms in the house represent different aspects of your life. So for example, the bedroom could represent your marriage or your relationship, intimate relationships. The living room could represent like your public life that you share with other people. The dining room could represent family relationships or things. And then the kitchen usually can represent some sort of, again, it's like you work a lot in the kitchen, but you also prepare food and you feed yourself. So it can represent some sort of a spiritual thing as well, where you're like nourishing your soul in some kind of way. But the thing to take note of when you dream about your house is you want to look at the condition of the house. I've noticed that in my dreams in particular, when I was going through a kind of a rough time in my life, the dreams about my house, sometimes I was having like really bad dreams where the house that I was living in, I remember one time, like there was not even a front door on the house and I couldn't lock the doors and I didn't feel secure. So obviously that's representing my insecurities in life, and really could represent, I believe, a spiritual vulnerability, that you're not, like your life is not really like on solid ground where it needs to be, spiritually speaking, right? So you want to like fortify yourself spiritually so that you're strong in the spirit. And when you are in a weakened state spiritually, then it's going to show up in your house not being very strong. So you want to think about that and the kind of house that you're living in. Are you living in a dilapidated house, or are you living in a beautiful house? If your life is really, I believe, enlightened, if you're really walking like with God and you're enlightened and you're living according to how He would have us to live, then you should be having dreams where you're living in a really nice house. We are, as Christians, right, they say that Jesus said He goes to prepare a place for us in heaven, and we're, promised these mansions. So it's really something that you can actually see in your dreams, even now. And it just represents your life where everything is beautiful and in place. So if you are dreaming that you can't shut, the doors or the windows, then that suggests that there's something in your life that really needs your attention. And I think that's in a spiritual sense. Maybe you're just really not sure about your belief system, and so you're having those kind of dreams. The other thing to consider is where is your house? Do you live like in a scary, dangerous neighborhood, in your dreams? Or are you living like in a beautiful area where you would like to live? That's also important too in the dream. It just represents kind of your state of mind and what you're dealing with mentally and spiritually, right? The other thing that you would want to consider is the cleanliness of your house. So we are all very particular about washing ourselves, showering. Well, I hope we are showering, cleansing our physical bodies, right? We perfume it, we wear deodorant, we clean ourselves, we shower. But what about your spiritual life, right? How pure is your life spiritually? Because if you have if you're exposing yourself to really like defiling influences, forces, it's going to show up in your dream as perhaps rodents in your house, spiders, cockroaches, whatever, So that will also show up. That would be very concerning, because that's kind of like something that's like defiling your life, something that's just not good, something you're taking in that is not clean, let's just say. So that would be something to watch for. Another very important thing about your house in your dream, which I believe represents your life, is who is in your house, right? You could dream about an intruder in your house. And you could also, be alerted through that there's something in your life that shouldn't be there. For example, I had a dream that I was in my house, and of course it looked nothing like my real house in the dream, and then I was leaving, but then I came back to get something. And when I did, I caught somebody hiding in my closet, some intruder guy that was there to rob me. And so anyway, when I woke up, I understood the dream, to mean that I had allowed something in my life that shouldn't be there, that was basically robbing me or stealing from me spiritually, not in real, not literally. And what I found that to be is that I had allowed a sort of mindset, very negative mindset, into my life that was, it really was robbing me of joy and happiness. And it could just be like resentment, and I've dealt with it. It's been a while ago, but it really was true that I had been thinking in such a way that really was not benefiting me in any kind of way. So do you see what I mean about this person representing something that shouldn't be in my life? And of course that could have been a real person, but I've talked to you about other videos where people can represent ideas or concepts. They personify those things a lot of times. They don't really represent actual people. So you want to think about who is in your house, whether or not they belong there. Are they a power for good, a force for good, or are they an evil force? Those are all really important. But your house dreams are generally going to represent your life and the condition that you're in right now, because it could be something that a mentality that you have, what you're dealing with at the moment. If you're, like I said, if you're insecure, if you have a lot of insecurities, then it could show up in your house where things are not locking and there's not security in your home. It could be dangerous if you are having in a dangerous mindset. But all of this, I believe, is just information for you to then pray about and seek an answer to. And remember, I really think that when we take things to God, He reveals exactly what the problem is most of the time, if we want to hear it. Also, like I said, if there's rodents or cockroaches or any kind of infestation, that would be really not good at all, right? Because it's defiling stuff. However, if it's something like an animal that shouldn't be there, like a raccoon or cat or dog, like stray animals that really shouldn't be in your house, they should be out, then that would represent maybe something that you need to get rid of from your life, whether it's like anger, whatever, lust, greed. I mean, there's so many different things. Think about like all the things that you should not allow in your life. They can be represented with, animals, strange animals that are in your home that need to get out. That represents things in your spirit that you need to get rid of. Also, if you have dreams that something has snuck in your house, like maybe a snake or whatever, that's pretty evident that there's something evil that has come into your life that you need to be aware of. And that's definitely a warning dream. And yeah, a lot of times that could be a person, right? Because that is one, of the things, that's one of the ways that evil manifests, is through people. Evil spirits have to have a body to do their wickedness with. There's some dreams where like there's no furniture, let's say, and that could just be like a representation of you feeling like you're missing something in your life, like there's things that are missing in your life. So you also want to take note of the furnishings and the quality of those furnishings. But overall, these dreams are just so revelatory because they can really help you understand where you're at in your life, how stable, secure, how good is your life right at the moment. And if there are issues, then they'll show up in the house itself. And also the upstairs tends to be more of like a spiritual realm. When you're upstairs, it has to deal with maybe your relationship with God or the spirituality part of it. So yeah, I hope that's helpful in understanding your house dreams. So another thing is that the floor, I have found that the floor in the dreams are very important, like the condition of the floor. For example, I had a dream many years ago when I first became a Christian, in which basically the floor was like hardwood, but it was like rotted, and I was trying to walk and I was like falling through the floor, and that just really showed a lack of support from certain relationships that I was depending on and that just were not there for me. And so I really believe like the floor is like foundation, and it really speaks of like your relationships and who you are dependent on, and the condition of those type of relationships. So that's also very important. So the materials of your home are also very important. For example, if your house is made of rock, let's say, that really represents, it's a very spiritual thing, because we cannot make rocks, right? We can make bricks and we can cut wood and nail it together and all that, but you can't make rocks. So if you have a dream that your house is made of stones and stuff like that, that is really spiritual. That means like God has put things in place in your life, and that He, with His hand, really is the one that had organized your circumstances and orchestrated them. So that's a really great dream if you dream that your house is made of stone. Also, you need to think about what it is that you're doing in the dream, of course. So, for example, I had a dream once where I was hiding in the closet because I thought there was an intruder there was an intruder in my house in the dream. And so I was hiding in the closet, and I thought, oh my God, they've got a gun and they're gonna get me. And I got tired of being in the closet. So I came out, and I found that it was like a child, and they were holding like a hot dog, pretending it was a gun. And so, I was basically afraid of nothing in my dream. And that was so interesting, because it was like God showing me that, you are, allowing fear to, when you really shouldn't be afraid of anything. You've got the power over it, and yet you are allowing it to keep you really from living. I hope that makes sense. I hope that's helpful. I just find that whenever you dream about a house, it is a very revelatory dream that really reveals what's going on with your life at the moment.